Have you ever noticed that the harder you try to hold everything together, the more everything seems to slip? And have you ever felt that strange moment when you finally stop forcing and somehow the situation starts to soften by itself? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about the hidden reason why sheer willpower sometimes makes life more stuck, not more smooth. And we are going to connect it to something most people feel but rarely understand: the way your body carries energy. Not fantasy energy, but the real relationship between your nervous system, your breath, your posture, your emotions, and the chain of cause and effect you keep creating every day. Here are the 2 points I want you to keep in your mind while listening. When you force yourself to endure everything without listening to your body, you do not become stronger, you become tighter. And when you become tighter, your choices become narrower, your speech becomes sharper, your sleep becomes lighter, and your luck seems to shrink. But when you learn to use your body's energy correctly, you do not need to push as hard. You become steadier. And steadiness changes outcomes in ways that feel almost like life is helping you again. Let me start with a story that will sound familiar to many of you. There was a person I knew who was proud of one thing above all. They could endure. They could take pressure. They could keep smiling while carrying pain. They could keep working while exhausted. They could keep saying yes, even when their heart was screaming no. They called it being responsible. They called it being strong. They believed if they just tried harder, everything would eventually break open. So they pushed. They forced. They clenched their jaw and said, "I can handle it." For a while, it looked like discipline. From the outside, people even admired them. "You are so capable. You are so reliable. You never fall apart." But inside, something was quietly collapsing. Their chest always felt tight. Their stomach always felt heavy. Their shoulders were like rocks. Their sleep became shallow. They woke up already tired. Their mind raced at night like it was trying to solve the next decade before morning. Then the strangest part: the more they tried to harden themselves, the more life became messy. A conversation would turn into conflict over something small. A project would go wrong at the last minute. A relationship would become tense without a clear reason. Even their health started sending warnings: headaches, jaw pain, digestive issues, a constant low-grade anxiety they could not name. And they kept doing the same thing. They pushed harder. This is the trap. When you do not understand what is happening inside your body, you interpret stress as a signal to force more. But often stress is a signal to soften and realign. One night they finally broke. Not in a dramatic movie way, just quietly. They sat alone after everyone went to sleep and felt something simple and terrifying. "I cannot keep doing this." Not because they were weak, because their body had reached its limit. And the body always collects the bill. The next day they met an older mentor figure in their life. Not a therapist, not a guru, just someone who had lived long enough to know what matters. They listened quietly and then asked one question: "When you say you are hard enduring, what exactly are you doing inside?" The person answered without thinking, "I am clenching. I am holding my breath. I am tightening my stomach. I am making myself not feel." The mentor nodded and said, "So you are not enduring. You are resisting. Endurance has breath. Resistance has clenching." That sentence changed everything, because suddenly the person saw it. They were not moving through life with strength. They were moving through life with contraction. And contraction makes everything heavier. Now let us slow down and make this practical for you. When you force yourself through life, your body enters a stress state. Your nervous system shifts toward survival. Your breath becomes shallow. Your vision narrows. Your thinking becomes rigid. your patience drops, your digestion weakens, your sleep gets disturbed, your immune system becomes less resilient over time. This is not spiritual talk. This is how human biology works. And when your inner system is in survival mode, you start creating a certain kind of karma. You speak quickly. You interrupt. You assume bad intentions. You over-control. You take things personally. You try to win arguments instead of protecting relationships. You demand certainty where none exists. You chase results and ignore process. Then consequences follow. People feel pressured around you. They become defensive. They cooperate less. They hide information. They avoid you. They delay. They push back. Opportunities become smaller because trust becomes thinner. From your point of view, it looks like life is against you. But from cause and effect point of view, you are radiating pressure. And pressure invites resistance. This is why the more you force it, the worse it gets. Now you might be thinking, so what am I supposed to do? Just relax and let everything fall apart? No, this is not about giving up. This is about learning a different kind of strength. A strength that comes from alignment rather than clenching. In many wisdom traditions, there is a similar teaching. Softness overcomes hardness. A relaxed bow shoots farther than a rigid one. Water moves around obstacles and still reaches the ocean. The bamboo survives storms because it bends. Buddhism calls this the middle way. Not indulgence, not self-punishment, not forcing, not collapsing. A balanced path that keeps effort but removes cruelty. So what does it mean to use your body's energy the right way? It means you stop treating the body like a machine you can whip, and you start treating it like a living instrument that needs tuning. Here is the first tuning: breath. When you are forcing, you usually stop breathing fully. You take small, shallow breaths. Often you hold the breath without noticing. This keeps the body in alarm. So the simplest shift is also the most powerful. Return breath to the belly. You do not need complicated techniques. Just practice this several times a day. Inhale gently through the nose. Let the lower belly expand. Exhale slowly. Let the belly soften. Drop the shoulders. Unclench the jaw. If you do this consistently, you are telling your nervous system, we are safe enough to be present. And when you are present, you make wiser choices. Wiser choices create cleaner consequences. Here is the second tuning: posture. When you force, you collapse forward or you stiffen upward. Either way, the spine loses natural flow. The chest becomes locked. The neck strains. The lower back tightens. This posture becomes a mood. And that mood becomes a personality. And that personality becomes destiny. So practice a simple reset. Stand or sit and lengthen the spine gently. Not military stiff, just tall. Let the crown of the head rise. Let the chest be open without forcing. Let the shoulders fall. Let the tongue rest. Let the eyes soften. This is not about looking confident. This is about allowing energy to move without blockage. When the body is open, the mind becomes less trapped. Here is the third tuning: the way you meet difficulty. Forcing says, I must crush this problem now. Alignment says, I will take the clean next step. Forcing tries to control the whole future. Alignment focuses on the next right action. This difference changes everything, because when you try to control the whole future, you create constant anxiety. When you focus on the next right action, you create momentum. Momentum is a form of luck, because momentum attracts support. People can feel when you are stable. They want to build with stable people. Now let us return to the story. The person began to practice these simple tunings: breath, belly breath, posture soft upright, next right action. At first they felt like they were doing less. They feared falling behind because their identity was built on over-effort, so relaxing felt like danger. This is a common pattern in modern life. Many people learned that love comes when you perform, respect comes when you endure, safety comes when you control, so they cannot relax. Relaxing feels like being abandoned, but the body cannot live in that state forever. So the practice was not just physical, it was emotional. It was learning to trust that you can be valuable without self-violence. Over weeks, something shifted. They started noticing the moment they clenched. In conversations, in emails, in traffic, in family stress, they would feel the jaw tighten, the shoulders rise, the stomach harden, and instead of pushing harder, they would pause and breathe. That pause became a new destiny point, because the pause prevented many unnecessary conflicts. It prevented harsh words. It prevented impulsive decisions. It prevented panic spending. It prevented emotional leading. It prevented late-night doom scrolling. So life started to feel smoother, not because problems vanished, but because they stopped adding extras, offering on top of existing challenges. That is one of the biggest secrets of good fortune. Good fortune is often not extra gifts from the universe. It is fewer self-created disasters. Now let us talk about this phrase people love to use. Universe energy. You do not need to believe in a mystical universe to understand the practical meaning. When people say their energy is off, they usually mean their nervous system is dysregulated. They feel scattered. They feel heavy. They feel blocked. They feel like nothing flows. When they say their energy is good, they usually mean their body is warm, their breath is deep, their mind is steady, their emotions are manageable. They can focus, they can listen, they can respond rather than react. So using your body's energy correctly means regulating your system so your life becomes workable. And regulation is deeply connected to spiritual practice, because in Buddhism the mind is the leader, but the mind needs a stable body to practice well. If your body is always tense, your mind cannot settle. If your mind cannot settle, wisdom cannot arise. If wisdom cannot arise, you repeat the same patterns. That is samsara, not a faraway concept. Your daily loop of stress, reaction, regret, repeat. So how do you break the loop? You do not break it with more force. You break it with awareness and compassion. Awareness means you can see the loop as it happens. Compassion means you do not punish yourself for having a loop. You gently guide yourself back to clarity. This is why I keep saying the mind matters more than the technique. A technique without compassion becomes another way to attack yourself. Compassion without awareness becomes vague and passive. You need both. Now let me give you a scene that many of you will recognize. You are trying to solve a problem. Money, relationship, career, family, health. You sit down and the mind starts racing. You open 10 apps. You send messages fast. You demand answers. You check the phone constantly. You cannot sit still. You cannot eat peacefully. You cannot sleep. You call this trying hard, but what it really is panic disguised as effort. Panic creates desperate choices. Desperate choices create messy consequences. Messy consequences create more panic. And then you think fate is cruel. So the practice is to recognize panic early and return to regulation. One breath, one posture reset, one next right step. Sometimes the next right step is not another action. It is rest, because rest is not laziness. Rest is maintenance of the instrument. A tired instrument produces distorted music. Now let us connect this to karmic merit. Many people think merit comes only from formal charity or religious rituals. Those are good, but merit also comes from the way you treat people when you are stressed. It comes from choosing not to harm, choosing not to speak cruelly, choosing not to manipulate, choosing not to dump your anxiety on someone else. When you regulate your body, you increase your ability to practice non-harming. That creates merit. Merit creates supportive conditions. Supportive conditions show up as help, trust, forgiveness, timing, and opportunities. So yes, learning to regulate is a spiritual investment. Now I want to bring in a deeper life lesson. Forcing is often rooted in fear of impermanence. You want to lock life into certainty, but life changes, so you clench to stop change. You clench to stop loss. You clench to stop shame. You clench to stop uncertainty. But clenching cannot stop impermanence. It only makes you suffer twice. You suffer from the event, and you suffer from the resistance. Wisdom says, accept the changing nature of life, then choose the clean action within change. This is where calm power comes from. Calm power looks like this. You still work. You still show up. You still take responsibility, but you do not burn your nervous system as fuel. You do not sacrifice your compassion to achieve a result. You do not destroy relationships to feel in control. Calm power is a kind of awakened strength because it is not driven by ego. It is driven by clarity. Now let me share another small story. A viewer once told me, every time I have a conflict with my partner, I try to fix it immediately. I cannot sleep unless it is resolved, so I push them to talk. I demand explanations. I chase reassurance, and it always gets worse. This is forcing in relationships. It is the same pattern. They were not trying to harm. They weren't trying to feel safe. But the method created pressure, and pressure created withdrawal. Withdrawal created panic. Panic created more pressure. So I told them, before you fix the relationship, regulate your body. Because if your body is in survival, you will not communicate, you will fight. They tried something simple. When conflict appeared, they paused and breathed for 2 minutes. Slow exhale, relax jaw, soften shoulders. Then they asked one question: what outcome do I want? Peace or victory? When they chose peace, their words changed. Their tone changed. Their partner felt less attacked. The conversation became possible. Again, the relationship did not change because of magic. It changed because their nervous system changed. And that changed their karma of speech. This is how using your body correctly makes life turn on its own, because it removes the friction you were creating without realizing. Now let us talk about the word endure, because many of you were raised to endure. And endurance can be beautiful, but only when it is wise. Wise endurance means you stay steady in difficulty while keeping the heart open. Unwise endurance means you close the heart and call it strength. If you close the heart, you become bitter. Bitterness poisons relationships. Poison relationships poison outcomes. Then you say, I endured and still life did not reward me. But life did reward you with a lesson. Endurance without wisdom becomes hardness. Hardness becomes isolation. Isolation becomes suffering. So the real practice is to endure without hardening. How you endure with breath. You endure with presence. You endure with compassion. You endure with boundaries. You endure with rest. You endure with the willingness to ask for help. Asking for help is not weakness. It is humility. And humility is one of the strongest forms of spiritual power because it keeps you connected. Connected people have better outcomes. That is also a form of luck. Now we need to address something uncomfortable. Sometimes the reason you force is that you do not trust life. You think if you are not controlling everything, you will be abandoned by fate. This is where faith comes in, not blind faith, but a quiet trust in cause and effect. If I keep my mind clean, if I keep my actions clean, if I keep my speech kind, if I do the next right step, then, even if I cannot control everything, I will still be okay. This trust softens the body. And when the body softens, the mind becomes clearer. And when the mind becomes clearer, you can actually see what to do. Many people miss opportunities, not because the opportunity is not there, but because their mind is too tense to notice. When you are tense, you only see threats. When you are calm, you see options. Options are fortune. Now let us bring the original message into one simple sentence you can remember. If you want life to turn, stop forcing the wheel with clenched hands. Loosen your grip. Align your breath. Take the next clean step. Let cause and effect do its work. This is not passive. It is intelligent. There is a paradox here that many spiritual teachings point to. When you stop clinging, you receive more. When you stop chasing, you arrive faster. When you stop fighting, you become stronger. When you stop controlling, you become trustworthy. And trust attracts support. Now I want to share a personal style reflection for the closing. I have had seasons where I tried to power through everything. I thought rest was weakness. I thought softness was laziness. I thought if I did not push, nothing would happen. And I paid for it, not only in fatigue, but in my tone, in my relationships, in the quality of my decisions. Then I learned something simple. If I am regulated, I can do more with less effort. If I am dysregulated, I can do less even with more effort. So the skill is not endless pushing. The skill is inner alignment. Once I practiced alignment, life did not become perfect, but it became more cooperative. Not because the world changed, because I stopped throwing my inner storm onto everything I touched. That is the real miracle. Not a miracle from outside, a miracle of self-cultivation. Now I want to invite you into a small experiment. For the next 3 days, notice the moment you start forcing. Maybe it is in work, maybe it is in parenting, maybe it is in a relationship, maybe it is in your own inner self-talk. When you notice it, do one thing. Exhale slowly, relax the jaw. Drop the shoulders, soften the belly. Then ask, what is the next clean step? Not the whole plan, the next step. Then do that step. And after doing it, let the mind rest. You do not need to punish yourself with endless thinking. If you do this, you might notice something surprising. Some problems begin to solve themselves. Some people become easier to talk with. Some opportunities appear because you are no longer pushing them away with pressure. Some nights you sleep better, and better sleep creates better days. That is how it turns. Now it is your turn. In the comments, tell me where you feel you are forcing the most right now. Work, money, family, love, health. And tell me what happens if you try the small reset. Breath, posture, next clean step. If this video helped you see your struggle in a new way, subscribe to the channel. Like the video so more people can find it. And share your story in the comments, because your experience might be the exact medicine someone else needs tonight. And if you want to support this work, you can join the membership and keep these long-form teachings alive. We are building a community that practices wisdom in daily life, not as theories, but as real steps that change real destinies. Until next time, soften the grip, keep the heart clean, and let life turn with you instead of against you. Life gets noisy. Work, stress, expectations. Sometimes we lose touch with the quiet part of ourselves. Bracelet isn't just an accessory. It's a small reminder that you deserve peace. You deserve moments of stillness. You deserve to hold on to your inner balance. If one of these bracelets speaks to your heart, you'll find the purchase link in the description below. And even more auctions available on our channel's shop page. Pick home the one that feels right.